Assalamu alaikum to all of you, and a very warm welcome to this webinar on investing in human resources, training and development in occupational health and safety and benefits. As a part of the Safety Pro Expo, which is the first virtual exhibition and conference on the safety and health, right? So I hope that you and your families will be safe in this current pandemic or COVID-19 situation. And thank you for taking time to listen to me, and I will take about 25 minutes from your precious time for this topic. So thank you very much. Let me take opportunity to introduce my organization first. And SGS is world's leading testing, inspection, verification, certification company. And SGS is recognized as global benchmark for quality and integrity. It's established in 1878, and SGS has transformed the grain trading in Europe by offering innovative agricultural inspection services. And SGS steadily grown into a role as an industry leader. With a network of more than 96,000 employees, 2,700 offices and labs around the world, this is our journey which began 140 years ago. And currently SGS is providing and offering services to different sectors like agriculture, food, oil and gas, textile, energy, construction, chemical, consumer and retail, transportation, mining, industrial manufacturing, life sciences, and these are some services that we provide to different sectors. Uh, and I belong to certification and business enhancement, and CBE is basically the core department of SGS activities, and we have issued some more than 100,000 certifications to different organizations in these disciplines across the globe. Introducing myself, my name is Niaz Muhammad Khan, and I am serving SGS Pakistan in the capacity of Deputy Manager Audits and Trainings from the last 4 years. I am approved lead auditor for different ISO standards like ISO 45001, ISO 14001, ISO 9001, ISO 37001, and I'm also approved tutor for these standards like ISO 45001, ISO 14001, and some professional qualifications, international professional qualifications like NABOSH qualifications and IOSH qualification as well. And I have 12 years of experience in QHSE management, implementation, auditing, and trainings. And most of my experience side is from oil and gas sectors. And I've provided services in different organizations, oil and gas organizations. So coming to the topic, I hope that today's topic will be very interesting, and you can say that the topic will bring some information and some key knowledge areas into your mind. And I hope that almost all of us agrees that employees must be hired, satisfied, motivated, developed, trained, and retrained. So this is the general agreement that I hope that almost all of us will agree. There is a very famous saying of Mr. Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, that the only thing worse than training employees and losing them is not to train them and keep them. So it means that the worst thing in the world is that not to train your employees and let them go to other organizations, switch in other organizations, and not to keep, not to train them and to keep them, right? So if you keep untrained employees, then it's the most unfortunate thing in your that can be related to any organization. Similarly, Jack Welch, former CEO, General Electric, he said that organizations' ability to learn and translate, the organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into actions rapidly is the ultimate competitive advantage. It means that organizations should learn, and organizations should translate that learning into actions rapidly, as rapid as possible, to gain competitive advantage. Because in this ever-changing world, and you can say the fast-paced, changing corporate world, the training and development is an indispensable function, and no one can deny its importance for sustainable development of individuals and even organizations as well. However, sometimes trainings and development is one of the lowest thing on the priority of some organization list, or you can say on the priority list of some organizations. So in this context, let me share some global statistics of training and development with you. According to the 2015 Talent Mobility Research Report, more than 40% of organizations claimed that they rarely or never provide career planning or development to their employees. And if your organization is a part of this 40%, you should strongly reconsider your approach to manage your human capital. And since 2012, the World Economic Forum has annually published its Global Human Capital Report, which includes the Global Human Capital Index, GHCI, and according to the quality of their investments and human capital. And the index actually evaluates the contribution of health and education to the productivity of next generation workers. So according to this Global Human Capital Report 2017, only 62% of global human capital is currently developed. Only 62% of global human capital is currently developed. And Pakistan ranks 134th out of 157 countries in this human capital index, which is far much behind. And countries like Singapore, and Singapore was named the top country on the index with a score of 0.88. That is the maximum score. And the expected average years of education is 13.9 years in Singapore. So this is the Human Capital Index report, in which we can see the ranking of our country, and on the other side, you can see the ranking of the Singapore as well. So human resource is the set of people who make up the workforce of an organization, business, sector, industry, and even economy, with each person lending their skills and talents to the organization and help it to succeed. And this is called human capital. Human capital is basically measure of economic value that employee provides through their knowledge, their skill, their experiences, their abilities. And remember, human capital is a unique and it differs from any other capital, just like monetary capitals or other capitals. So human capital is a unique thing. And as I've told you earlier, that the human development globally is only 62%. So it means that we are investing on our human capital only 62% globally. But in our country, like it's 34 out of 157. So the human capital development is least on our side. So companies can invest in human capital, for example, through education of the staff and training of the staff. And obviously, this investment will bring some return on investment to your organization as well. So the return on investment of human capital can be calculated. So how we can calculate the ROI on the human capital investments? So you can, or your organization can calculate the return on investment of human capital by dividing the company total profit by its overall investment in the human capital. And you will calculate your return on investment and how much you have taken back from those investments. So there can be a question, one more question, that does human capital depreciates or not? The answer is yes. The human capital depreciates, and the most common ways in which human capital can depreciate uh, is basically the unemployment, injury, ill health, mental declines, or the inability to keep uh, up to date with the innovations. And this is basically the training and development that we are talking about. Similarly, the human capital of someone may depreciate if he or she can't or won't adopt new technology and techniques. So adaptation of new technologies, new techniques is basically something that basically develop your human capital, and the provision of trainings to your staff actually develop your human resource, and ultimately your human capital, the investment on your human capital increases, and you get return of on investment of this investment. So human capital is positively correlated to the economic growth. Economic growth, if you say economic growth of your organization, or economic growth of your group, or even economic growth of your country as well. Since investment tends to boost the productivity, the process of educating a workforce is a type of investment. I hope this is very much clear now, that what is the human capital and how we can invest on the human capital, and how we take back the returns from the investments. So the staff will develop new ideas and products for the company. If you develop your staff, you train your staff, obviously they will develop new ideas and new products for your company. And ultimately you will have a competitive advantage, and you will have basically a good trend for improvement, for continual improvement. So training is a performance improvement tool, and we have to equip our staff with this tool at different times. What different times? Just like providing refresher trainings, and to provide training to our staff when there is some change in their job responsibility or job function, and when a refresher training is required to your staff, or if a training need is raised by staff themselves on the need basis. So there are different stages, or different times when staff need training, and you can assess the training need of your employees and workers. And you must identify the training needs your employees first, because before training them. So training need identification is the first step uh, to go for any training or development of your workforce. So that what is training need assessment? It is the difference between the current and required competencies that can help to determine the training need of your workforce. So not only we have to identify the business needs, because business needs are very important, but remember that training needs are not different from the business needs. Training needs, development needs integrates into the business needs. So not only we have to identify the business needs, but also we have to perform a gap analysis of our training needs. And that gap analysis can be done by reviewing the HR records of your workforce, interviewing your workforce, and conducting competence survey or training survey, and giving them certain questionnaires relating to the training and development, and let them assess their training needs themselves, and integrate that assessment into your own organization needs and business needs. And ultimately, this will give you a lot of benefits. Now, let me discuss some benefits of investing in employees in terms of occupational health and safety trainings. To be very specific, occupational health and safety basically relates to your workplace health and safety requirements, or on-job health and safety requirements. Millions of workforce get globally get injured and get ill due to poor health and safety management at workplace. So training your workforce on occupational health and safety is obviously very important, and there are certain benefits of training your employees on occupational health and safety as well. So health and safety training and development can increase the employees' satisfaction level and even their morale. If organization invest in human resources, this will show workers that your business, your organization cares about their careers ultimately, and worker satisfaction level would be increased. So if your organization is taking into the consideration the health and safety training requirements and you are training your workforce, so they will uh, ultimately get satisfied, and their satisfaction level would be increased. And obviously if your workforce is satisfied and their morale is high, obviously it will benefit your organization in terms of the monetary benefits and overall benefits. So according to a survey in 2014 by Society of Human Resource Management, 42% of employees said that their organization commitment to professional development is very important to their job satisfaction. So your employees, basically the satisfaction level of your employees depends how the organization commits about the health and safety and other requirements and training requirements of the employee development. So if your training development if you train and develop your workforce and you are committed to improve the competency level of your workforce, ultimately they will be satisfied and they will perform their job in a very good manner, in a safe manner as well. Similarly, if you train your and develop your workforce, the retention rates of your workforce will be improved. It is estimated that it costs an average of 6 to 9 months salary to replace a salaried employee. If a salaried employee, your workforce, a trained and competent workforce, leave your organization, so you have to bear a cost of average 6 to 9 months salary to replace that particular employee. So it's better to train your employee and to retain them. And a little investment in an employee's development plan can save a lot of employee turnover. So workers who are receiving the professional educations and developments are less likely to seek other opportunities, other employment opportunities. So if an employee can advance within the company, obviously they won't have to look for advancement opportunities in other organizations or outside of the company. Similarly, the provision of health and safety training and development to your workforce actually develop your employees' engagement in terms of occupational health and safety management systems. So engaged employees are more productive and more loyal to the organization. According to a survey by Gallup, only 32% of workers feels engaged at work. So giving your staff career advancement opportunities and investment in the development, in their development, gives them reason to get engaged during work. And comprehensive training in workplace health and safety not only increases the teams or workers' awareness and knowledge in this area, but also their investment in this process. So the promotion of health and safety in the workplace leads to employees taking individual responsibility to ensure that their roles are accomplished to make a safer workplace. This means that the whole team will be actively promoting a safe work environment and identifying and addressing the issues, right? So a properly trained and developed workforce will be effectively engaged, and the level of engagement of a properly trained workforce will be very high, and they will contribute to your business by identifying and addressing different issues relevant to the health and safety and business needs as well. The client engagement will be developed or increased. The more satisfied your employees are, the more likely your clients are to be satisfied in the return. When customer interacts with your staff that is trained on OHS matters, and they are engaged on the OHS matters, and they are satisfied with your organization, your employees, so they are more likely, the customers are more likely to have positive experience with your organization. And every positive experience in turn increase the customer engagement and satisfaction. And ultimately, the business of your organization flourishes. And one more very important thing is that the communication mechanism of your organization improves when you train your employees on health and safety matters, health and safety issues. And all of us know that one of the biggest barriers to health and safety in the workplace is a lack of communication. And often incidents occur because employees fail to notify their supervisor or colleague about the issues or hazards or risk or problems of the workplace. Training and development of employees actually enhances the flow of information through your organization, improving the quality and quantity of information passing up and down of your business. And when the communication improves, so does your business. So better communication leads to better employee satisfaction and engagement. It also helps your company to discover employees who may be lacking in the communication skills, and in return you will develop some communication training plan or development plan for those workers whom are basically weak in the communication skills. So communication is basically the backbone of any organization, and if you train your employees, the communication will be improved, and so your business. One more very important thing is that recruitment process is very important for any organization. And if the staff whom are basically involved in the hiring process are properly trained on the OHS requirements, so they will hire competent OHS resources and staff. And in return, the OHS culture of organization will be improved. So ultimately, OHS trainings will improve the organizational behavior, the workforce behavior, and in return, the collective behaviors will be changed within any organization. So culture is the collective behavior, how your workforce expresses their health and safety requirements. So when behavior of the workforce will improve, the organization's health and safety culture will flourish and continually improve. So better employee satisfaction, better employee engagement, better communication within the organization will lead to an improved overall health and safety culture of your organization. And the improved health and safety culture increases your employees' productivity, behaviors, morale, and so many things as well. The health and safety trainings and development opportunities at a workplace also help your staff to reduce their stress. Stress is basically related to the psychological sciences. Stress is basically reaction of mind of your workforce to a certain issue. Within organization, workers can have stress due to a number of reasons. And it's the responsibility of organization that emotional and mental well-being of its workforce should be looked after. And it's a major concern in modern workplaces. So stress and other mental health issues can have significant long-term negative impacts on health and safety of employees, ultimately which in turn harms the productivity and damage the overall business. Properly trained workforce will know their job requirements, and clearly they will know all the job requirements and would be less stressed, because one of the reason uh, to fall in stress at a workplace is basically workforce don't know the health and safety requirements and the job requirements. Moreover, health and safety trainings can cover strategies to manage the stress in the workplace. So if you provide your staff the health and safety training, it will help your staff to manage the workplace stress, and ultimately, as a result, their productivity and their OHS performance will be increased. If you train your employees and workforce, the reducing uh, it will reduce the workplace injuries and ill healths and accidents. It is about ensuring that all workers undergo health and safety training, can help to reduce the accidents and injuries at the workplace. Trained employees work safely, and as a result, trends of accidents decreases. And the decreased incidents or accident trends uh, reduces the potential direct and indirect costs that could have affected organization after any incident. So in this way, organization can take back the ROI, or you can say the return on investment. Similarly, the legal compliance is improved if your workforce is trained on the OHS matters. And in most of the countries across the globe, training of employees on OHS matter is a legal requirement as well. And all of us knows that in our country, there are different laws and regulations that are related to the occupational health and safety and the provision of OHS trainings and development to your workforce. So International Labour Organization also has convention and codes in this regard. So conventions and recommendations. So ILO basically uh, gives conventions and recommendations that has to uh, be followed or adopted by the ratifying states. And Pakistan is basically a member of ILO, and ILO and Pakistan has signed the ILO convention in 1947. So as far as ILO recommendation and conventions are concerned, the ILO standards encourage the signatory countries to develop sound human resource practices and training policies that are beneficial to all social partners, including your workforce. So because of the continued importance of this topic, that is training and development, so ILO in 2004 uh, introduces some conventions and recommendations. So in 2004, International Labour Conference adopted updated human resource development recommendation, that is R195. There are a number of conventions and recommendations of ILO. Conventions are basically the, you can say, uh, what have to do, and recommendation are basically guidelines that helps countries and organizations to implement that particular convention, that how a particular convention can be practically implemented. So for the understanding and for the guidelines, recommendations are rolled out for different conventions by ILO. So recommendation number 195, R195, is basically rolled out by International Labour Conference for Human Resource Development, which focuses on the education, training, and lifelong learning. Similarly, the Convention for the Human Resource Development, that is C142, that came in 1975. That requires ratifying state to develop policies and programs of vocational guidance and vocational trainings, closely linked with employment, in particular public employment services as well. So this is the need due to which organizations has to develop and train its staff. So this is a legal need as well. And we know that no organization wants to conduct a legal non-compliance. So as I mentioned earlier, that Pakistan has ratified the ILO conventions and recommendations on health and safety and labor laws. So in Pakistan, we have some health and safety laws that are standalone and some laws that are basically part of certain legislation and regulation, like Factories Act, like Electricity Act, like Petroleum Act. So all these acts has some requirements of providing OHS trainings or technical trainings to your staff. So obviously they can conduct their work in a safe manner. So as far as laws in Pakistan are concerned, so in Pakistan, we have laws like Sindh OSH Act, Occupational Health Safety Act 2018, and Punjab OHS Act 2019, just for example. So these acts requires that employees must train their workforce on the OHS issues and different requirements. So this needs, so this is there is a legal need to provide health and safety training to your workforce. So in conclusion, there may be different business challenges, but training and development of your workforce and your organization will not only give your organization a benefit, a competitive advantage, but also the economy of country can grow and will help you to fulfill the legal and regulatory requirements as well. I appreciate the time you spent listening about the investing in human resource, training and development in occupational health and safety and benefits. And we will now answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Niaz, there is a question from Muhammad Nawaz Khan. Is there any government organization extending training to the private sector companies like NPO? Any government organization?
Usually the trainings like SMEDA is providing certain training requirements to workforce of any organization. So SMEDA is actually providing some uh, trainings that related to OHS and technical matters as well. And some other, for example, you can say PNAC also provides some trainings, but Pakistan National Accreditation Council provides basically trainings on the accreditation part and certification part and the auditing and training sides. So some trainings are also provided by PNAC that are basically related to the health and safety management systems. Some other organizations like Pakistan Safety Council, maybe they provide. I'm not sure about that, but maybe they are providing some health and safety trainings on these things. One more thing, the civil defense or civil defense department actually provides some health and safety and fire safety related trainings to organizations on need basis. and they provide basic firefighting trainings and advanced firefighting trainings. And similarly, NDMA, National Disaster Management uh, Authority, also provides trainings on the emergency rescues and earthquake, flooding, such sort of topics. So there are some government organizations whom basically provides health and safety related trainings.
All right. Thank you so much for the answer. Next question: is there any benefit to comply strict health and safety management system for an organization?
Obviously, the core purpose of providing, I'm sorry, the core purpose of providing health and safety training to your workforce is to improve your management system, the management system of your workforce. So if you provide training to your workforce, obviously, as I have mentioned, different benefits of OHS trainings. Uh, and remember that investment on the human capital will give you return on investment. So there are a number of benefits like ensuring the compliance obligations, legal requirements, and other requirements. Similarly, the rates of incident will reduce, the workforce morale will be high, and some legal penalties can be reduced in case of incidents, because if you provide your workers proper trainings, obviously they will uh, perform in a positive way and in a safer manner. So your workplace injuries will be decreased, and some direct costs and indirect costs that can be that can arise from any incident can be reduced or eliminated or minimized. So there are a number of benefits. That's as I've told you earlier. So management system is basically how your organization manages the OHS requirements in your workplace. So the requirements can be legal requirements can be other requirements like your client requirements or group requirements. Similarly, requirements can be of ISO standards or ILO conventions. So there are a number of requirements that you subscribe. So management system is basically a set of requirements that we have to manage and follow. And if you talk about the OHS management system, obviously OHS management system will be improved and better complied if you train and develop your staff, right?
Perfect. Thank you. What are next question from Ahmed Mansoor? What is the potential of professional degree in health and safety, and what you propose it to the education sector for reforms required? What are the certification you will recommend to the health and safety professional, or those who are excel their career in health and safety, uh, health and safety industry? And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Very good question, and it's a nowadays very burning topic that how health and safety trainings will develop workforce, and obviously they will be developed. But what if any individual is concerned, then how that individual will be benefited? Because usually the trainings are taken by the workforce themselves. It's a you can say negative side of the business, that today most of the employers are not training and developing its workforce, and ultimately their workforce try to develop themselves, and they uh, obviously save some money and they invest that money on the different trainings like OHS trainings for the better opportunities. So as I discussed in my comments, that it's the ultimate responsibility of organization to train its staff and workers on OHS matters. So this training can be internal and external as well as per need. So if anybody is trying to invest in the health and safety trainings, so there are a number of opportunities that he can have. So within organization, you can have you can say a superior role, a good role, and you can have obviously have some promotion as far as health and safety roles are concerned. So you can be deployed on the position of OHS managers or OHS QHSE lead. These are the position mostly organization do have, and you can get internal promotion. And if you talk about external benefits, obviously the job market is increasing day by day, and nowadays health and safety laws, regulations requires most of the organizations to have health and safety staff in their workforce to manage and to coordinate health and safety matters of the workplace. So you will have you can have good jobs within the country as well and outside the country. Most favorite area for the QHSE jobs are nowadays before COVID was basically Gulf states like Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, UAE, Saudi Arabia. So these are the countries in which there is a lot of scope of OHS competent staff. And as far as some policy matters are concerned, so before 2015, there was not very much focus on the health and safety trainings and training within the organization. So as far as the courses are concerned, that for example, engineering degrees or other science degrees are concerned, so there is a need of a policy that health as health and safety demand is growing day by day, and in each and every industry, health and safety is managed, and it's today it's a prime concern. So keeping in view this demand, the educational institution should include the health and safety courses in their other technical courses. For example, in Karachi, NED University and Karachi University's Petroleum Department, NED University has also included health and safety courses in their curriculum. So obviously, only providing training is not important. Institutions, education institutions should also arrange tours to different organizations and show them the health and safety management system, that how health and safety management system is implemented and managed on practical grounds in different industries. For example, they can take them to the oil and gas rig, they can take them to the production site, they can take their students to the textile factory, or there are a number of other organizations where they can take their students on a study tour just to show them how health and safety is managed and how health and safety is important. So as day by day the health and safety awareness is arising, and health and safety laws are basically passed by the assemblies. So the implementation of these laws are basically implemented by the regulators. So this is the need of industry. So as all of us understand that universities basically prepare their students according to the industrial needs. So as now health and safety is the core industrial need, so institutions should also include and increase the number of courses and the level of details in their courses related to health and safety. And as far as courses are concerned, there are some courses, as I have mentioned, that in NED University and Karachi University and some other universities as well, they have included health and safety courses in their curriculum as well. So as far as policies are concerned, there should be obviously some education policy in which the engineering institutions and institutions providing science degrees to the students, they should include at least health and safety courses in their curriculum.
Thank you for the brief answer. Next question, how an organization complies their health and safety management system in current era where we have come across with a pandemic of COVID-19?
So pandemic 19 is actually itself basically health concern, right? So organization have implemented controls for different, they have taken a number of initiatives to control the COVID-19 at workplace. Because initially, if you remember that in the late February and earlier March, when the pandemic spread in Pakistan, most of industries were shut down because of the threat of the COVID-19. But as we move on, thanks to the government of Pakistan as well, they have opened the industries, and they have taken and they have rolled out some policies and SOPs, standard operating procedures for different organizations. So in the mid June and you can say in earlier June, most of the organizations were open. So in Sindh, in Punjab, in KPK, and in federal capital, there are, because legislation is basically legislation, health, education is a provincial matter after 18th Amendment, and most of the organizations, most of the governments have rolled out their SOPs against which different organizations have managed their health and safety. For example, I've audited different organizations during COVID-19 with strict protocol. For example, they installed walk-through gates. They used thermal scanning cameras to record the temperature of incoming workers, that workers coming to the factory. They used to check the symptoms. They filled and given the questionnaires. Most of the factories providing transportation facilities to their workers, they used to formulate SOP for the transportation of workers from their home to their offices. For example, they accommodated one passenger on two seats. So they maintained social distances. They provided PPEs. So there was a challenge given by and portrayed by the COVID-19, and the good government policies, and they have timely responded to the situation, the health ministry as well. So they have rolled out some SOPs. Provincial governments also implemented the SOPs, and the most important things, the end users, the organization and factories implemented those SOPs in true spirit. So there are a number of ways organizations have tackled this COVID-19 situation, and alhamdulillah, more than 90% of industries are basically working in a full swing as of today. So basically, you should have a management system. Management system doesn't mean I am talking about ISO management systems. Management system can be your own management system, the management system provided by your client, your group, management system provided by your government. So we have to follow those management systems, and whenever there's a good management system, there's a good management of different emergencies. Like pandemic is also a health emergency, which is very properly taken up at the organization level and provincial levels and the national governmental levels. I hope I have satisfied your answer, your question.
Yes, thank you. Then how SGS Pakistan can add a value in health and safety of an organization? Next question.
Thank you for this question. As I mentioned earlier in the opening comments, that SGS is providing different services like inspection, verification, testings, trainings, and certifications. So as far as inspections are concerned, SGS provided a number of inspections like mechanical integrity, tank testings, radiographies, industrial entire testings, health and safety monitorings, ambient air monitorings. So there are a number of monitorings and testings and inspections. So SGS can also provide you health and safety training and other operational trainings as well. As far as health, my topic for today is health and safety trainings. So SGS provides a number of trainings that are based on ISO standards, that are based on day-to-day health and safety topics like lifting and rigging, like confined space, like fire safety. These are the day-to-day issues. We provide trainings on these as well. And the health and safety trainings like the professional qualifications like NEBOSH courses, NEBOSH IUGC, NEBOSH IGC, NEBOSH International Diploma, IOSH Managing Safely. Similarly, there are, if you are interested in knowing the entire catalog of SGS trainings, so AFAG, you can share the training log and training catalog or training plan to the individuals as well. So SGS can help your organization by helping you by providing health and safety services in monitoring, in inspection, in testings, in auditing, third-party auditings, second-party auditings, and providing ISO trainings, accredited trainings of IRCA and CQI, NEBOSH courses, IOSH courses. So there are a number of courses that we provide to different organizations, both in-house and on public sessions as well.
All right. What are the health and safety courses that SGS is offering to the industry, and how can how can we contact to SGS getting these courses, training services?
Okay, as I have mentioned in the last question that there are a number of courses, and uh, these courses, the list of courses that we provide is a long list. As SGS provides customized courses to your workforce as well. For example, if you want your workforce to, just for example, uh, for on the lifting and rigging requirement, or you want your workforce to be trained on the on radiation safety or chemical handling or radiography. So there are a number of courses that we provide, and SGS can also provide your organization the customized courses that your organization needs, and we will tailor the courses according to your organization needs. So if you want any assistance or training services from SGS, you can contact SGS. AFAC, you can please guide them and how they can approach SGS in Karachi, in Islamabad, in Lahore, in Faisalabad, Multan. So we are different site offices, regional offices. You can coordinate with these offices, and AFAC will give you the complete contact details as well.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Niaz, and it was a very informative session. Thank you so much. Well, I already mentioned my contact details in the comment box. If anyone having a query regarding the training need assessment, gap analysis of health and safety, quality management system, we have offering a very innovative digital training as well. We are offering online training as well, which is equally important for small and medium enterprises as well as the students as well, and all those professionals who are working in an organization and trying to enhance their capacity, trying to enhance their competency in the field of health and safety management system. Uh, we are having a very customized program for all organization related to health and safety. Currently, in COVID-19, where organizations are very much worried for the face-to-face training, we are the first organization in Pakistan who are offering virtual training, and I'm very pleased that Niaz Ahmed Khan is one of the successful trainer of we have who are conducting more than 10 training of virtual successfully conducting virtual trainings. So thank you so much, all of you. You can share your queries to afaq.ahmad@sds.com or cbe.pakistan@sds.com. Both email addresses also already mentioned in the comment box. Any other queries, question you can ask? We are waiting for that. We are welcome your question.
Afaq Sahab, I would recommend that please share your email address and the CB email address in the chat box, that the delegates and participants of this session could note it down and they can directly interact with you.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yes, I have already mentioned the my email addresses as well as cbe.pakistan, which is a generic email address we are using. We are welcoming your emails, your queries. We will love to facilitate you, and have a safe and sound day. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. Thank you, Niaz, for conducting such a informative webinar.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you, for being a part of this session. And if you have any further query, or if you need any further services regarding training and development from SGS, we always welcome you. And Afaq Saab has already shared the email addresses with you, and you can directly email us your requirement, and we will be getting back to you. Right. So thank you very much once again, and stay safe. Allah Hafiz.